Good morning. This is Things You Might Have Heard, and you're going to present for you in a moment yesterday's latest in information, politics, current events, and pop culture news. This is your go-to supplemental source for both mainstream and unconventional news stories you may have missed, with a little bit of context and attempting to bring the conversation to all. That's why it's brought to you by the Conversation Project. For this thing, today we're going to get into a bit of the weeds on stories on Tim Ballard and Russell Brand and things happening with them right now, plus six other stories for the morning. 8 stories total for you this morning, plus a little bit of fun stuff at the end. So stick around for all of that. We want to remind you that we have a website at conversationproject.com, so you can see what we do all day, all night, all week long to give you conversational stories to engage in with the crowd and be part of the fun, because it really is fun to get the stuff done. Now, you help us pick the words and come in my mouth every single day by vetting the stories in the feeds. We'll explain that in a bit as well. Right now, let's get on to our first story for this morning. Today happens to be, Wednesday, September the 20th, 2023. Story number 1, headline reads like this. And we start off with Tim Ballard. Sound of Freedom team silent on new allegations against real-life subject Tim Ballard. One of the things that happened with the groundswell of response to the movie Sound of Freedom, the true life story, more or less, of Tim Ballard, a person who used to work for the government in trying to free different people who were kidnapped, and began a actual charity, a nonprofit to essentially free kidnapped and stop trafficking of women and children, is the fact that the story itself, based on the true part, is a little bit always kind of odd. We're seeing that with the Tuohys and Michael Oher with The Blind Side. That obviously was dramatized, but by the means it was. And many people say that the movie, about 70-80% of the storyline, although the facts are more or less there and the people are aligned, the way the story played out, a bit more dramatic for Hollywood than it is. What we're finding out about the drama in Hollywood, about this team behind this, is the fact that Tim Ballard, not the greatest guy in the world. In fact, the movie took a long time to actually get produced and to get distributed, which is one of the issues. But we're finding out there is a lot of scenes behind the scenes in terms of the actual group Sound of Freedom, where Tim Ballard, who actually was released from the company, broke ties with the company before the movie actually was released, may have some issues with sexual harassment, sexual battery, those types of things with various people in the organization. Now, because he's famous, people are caring enough to look into these things, and we will see how this thing plays out. Tim Ballard is fighting all allegations. The group behind the movie, behind the actual group, are saying nothing at the moment. But we'll see how this thing plays out, because we get into people's business in this world, and we do that here for conversational stuff. If it's salacious, if it's out there that people want to talk about, you're talking about it. That's literally why we have the Conversation Project. We're also talking about Russell Brand, who right now has been suspended from YouTube, at least from making any money. No monetization on Russell Brand's videos. All that has been blocked as of right now, as YouTube and the BBC are pulling some of the shows officially offline in general and taking off all sorts of monetization anyway to make any money from those things online. And they're doing this because of the allegations, in his case, of sexual misconduct as well. Now, Russell Brand has been very, 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 very vocal about his past life and being a drug addict and just all sort of the lewd and things he's did. Unfortunately, some of those things in the past are coming to light and becoming quite of an issue for the future, including chances of him soliciting and grooming young women in the process of said past days. Now, we can look past those things right now, and one of the bigger sort of ironies of this is Russell Brand turned from this crazy liberal sort of do everything thing to one of the I guess folks fighting for conservativeness in a sense, or at least letting people talk these things. And now he's being sort of punished by being a conservative over the crazy liberal young stuff he did. We're going to see how this one plays out for quite some time, because right now he's still getting a lot of love and attention because he's in the news, just not making a lot of money off of it. A quick resolution to the deputy killing in Los Angeles, but the suspect, as the headline reads from the story we pulled from ABC 7 in Los Angeles, suspect in LA deputy killing heard voices, had attempted suicide, mother said. This story was updated a few times, but when it's all said and done, we have Kevin Cantino Salazar, 29-year-old, was arrested in his Palmdale home early on Monday morning after a lengthy standoff with sheriff's deputies. Tear gas was deployed to force him come out and surrender to authorities. The investigators believe that Salazar drove up behind Deputy Ryan Chinkunberger's car and shot him. The deputy was pronounced dead on the scene, dead at the hospital from the gunshot wound. He was sitting in his car, essentially waiting to going to work, and Salazar drove up, shot him, and drove away. Salazar's family says that he has schizophrenia, bipolar disorder, and has tried to commit suicide once or twice in his lifetime. So the man who committed the crimes has some issues. Will those issues come to his defense, or will those issues essentially be what will be his downfall in this very eventual trial in this issue? We'll see on that end. Let's talk about Phil Mickelson for a moment. He admits he crossed the line in becoming a gambling addict. That's the headline from USA Today's story we pulled on this. And he says he's going to stop betting on football games all seasons long to try to kick his habit and get back on track. Of course, the allegations of his betting have, I guess, been open secrets, and a big time revelation in a new book from a gambler who said, hey, Phil Mickelson's rolled with me and he wasted all his money. He has said, that being Phil, has been really public about his gambling addiction lately, and said his wife is helping him kick that habit. So he's back on track going forward. And one of the things he's doing right now is not betting on football, because when you're a gambler, you can't allow yourself to gamble. It is just like that. It's one step to stay off the course of the bad things happening, and gambling is his thing. Danny Masterson's wife, Bijou Phillips, files for divorce days after he's sentenced to prison for rape. Danny Masterson's wife, Bijou Phillips, is filing for divorce. Her husband, of course, Danny Masterson, got sentenced to 30 years to life in prison for rape and various other salacious things there. The couple have a 9-year-old. They've been married for a while, and Bijou Phillips, as well as very other people, wrote letters to the judge on the behalf of her husband to say he's not that bad of a guy. He's okay. He should be treated leniently. The people are saying bad things. He's just being a target. He was charged and convicted anyway. Add this to the list of celebrity breakups and divorces. This one with a more serious charge in between it, as opposed to just, we're just tired of each other. This one is going to be a big one. Elon Musk suggests he will charge all X/Twitter users a fee to be on the platform. Among the rumblings of Elon Musk going on currently is that he brought the idea that he's going to charge all the users of Twitter/X/Twitter a monthly fee to basically combat the creation of bots. Now, it doesn't stop the people who have bots from paying money for bots, but it's a thought process. Because of the bot problem on Twitter, which he says has been the whole issue why he thought he wasn't going to buy it in the first place, it's a way to break things down. Now, he's had a big week this week. He talked to Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu of Israel, who he said, you should take some of the anti-Semitism off of the Twitter. And Musk was like, yeah, but free speech, free speech, free speech. We're America, free speech, free speech, free speech. And so basically this come to the idea of maybe a paywall. So if everybody is paying to be here, less fake accounts will pop up. And if everyone's paying to be here, they'll act nice. In reality, people will pay for more bots and will probably act worse because they're paying for it. That's how things like these actually happen. When you pay for it, you I throw my good money at this. I'm going to do what I want to do. I'm a grown-ass man, those type of things. We shall see how this one plays out, because Twitter is right now getting my Twitter Blue money for whatever it's worth there to stay on the platform and learn the stuff. We'll see how well it actually applies to literally the masses if you have to pay for Twitter, whether it will really be dead or dead soon. Tiger Woods' ex-girlfriend files 53-page brief in effort to revive public lawsuit. The former girlfriend of Tiger Woods filed a 53-page brief in an effort to revive a lawsuit that was made public against him after a judge threw it out in May. The brief argues that a recent enacted federal law invalidates the non-disclosure agreement and forced arbitration in causes of sexual assault of harassment. Woods is accused of pursuing a sexual relationship with an employee, but Herman, the woman in there, disputes the validity of the NDA and says she does not recall signing it. Tiger Woods was allowed to force Erica Herman out of court without proof that they agreed to arbitrate on this matter. Something up with Tiger Woods and relationships. He's had issues with his actual wife and issues with other girlfriends, including the fact that because he's Tiger Woods, they have to sign. It's not in prenups, it's NDAs. I guess you're not married, so there's not so much a prenup for money, but things to stay in control of his image, his likeness, his words, things going on. Tiger Woods a very private person, which can be understood, but there also are human issues that apparently Tiger really may be a robot and doesn't quite understand. Great player, maybe not so great a guy. Woman screams and curses getting kicked off plane, tells passenger she's Instagram famous. Happens all the time. It always works. Actually, it never works. A woman who claimed to be Instagram famous, and this is all over the internet, was kicked off an American Airlines flight for seemingly arguing with other passengers. She tells airplane staff to shut up, tell someone else to F off, and you're a bitch. Things like that. Things that you say when you're Instagram famous because you can do that. New York Post confirmed that the woman's name is Morgan Osmond, and she has nearly 1 million followers on Instagram, so she's Instagram famous, I guess. It still does not warrant the actions here. Essentially, all sorts of craziness going on these flights. Many people are going nuts, and because we all have camera phones, we're capturing it, and we're getting our 15 minutes of fame off of other people's 15 minutes of fame. Let's try to be better people. Let's just stop acting like assholes on airlines. Can we do that? Is that possible? Can we pledge to be less of jerks in public? We'll see how that works out. We have a section called Errors, Apologies, and Omissions, which I always read out of order. And this is for putting in things that we don't have time for. Now, we'll explain how the feeds work in the 8 stories we picked in just a moment. But one story that was actually the top story of the day, the one that got the most engagement, we want to make a quick hit so you understand what it is. So this is an omitted story, if you will. Shannon Bedore, I hope I'm saying that right. Actually, I don't care if I'm saying it right, but that's the name on the list. The Real Housewives cast member was arrested for DUI and hit and run. Check out the links that we have at our conversational pages and for this video, audio, or the links here to go deeper in detail to this story if you can go into it. Apparently, most of you care this one the most because this was the top story by engagement per the day yesterday. So we're going to talk about engagement right now and how that works by talking about our teaser story for tomorrow. This is a headline, a story that's in the queue to talk about, or maybe past queue if you're watching this video, not in the live play at 5:50 a.m. Central Time. And this is a story that you can engage in and tell us what to talk about. It's that simple. You like it, you love it, you hate it, you share it. You follow us on Twitter, if you can still get there, X, and Facebook, facebook.com/thisistheconversationproject, and twitter.com/th_conversation. And all you need to do is like it, love it, hate it, share it, engage in the story. The headline reads like this. Texas teacher reportedly fired after reading from Anne Frank's diary to students. It's a bit more complicated than just she read Anne Frank's diary. Anne Frank's diary was on an approved list of books for a school district. However, a graphic novel version apparently was not, and a teacher read from that version. There are some things in the graphic novel that may be a bit more graphic for some kids, and the parents complain about it, and it is an issue. The teacher was fired. There's a substitute teacher running the class right now, and we will see how this plays out. We will see if we talk more about this tomorrow if you deem this one worthy of the chat. Follow us on our feeds on Facebook and Twitter, and tell us, because every single day you vet the stories that we get to pick from for the Conversation Projects, things you might not have heard. You don't get to pick the sponsor every morning. It's kind of based on a loop of things. But today's sponsor we're going to spotlight is PS Print. And this one you may pick as your new savior for your promotional items. Flyers and posters and stamps and all sorts of stickers and things like that. PS Print may be your way to get things done. They are backed by Deluxe, the folks that have been printing checks for forever. So you know they get good things done. They get the work done. They're timely. They're effortless for you, and they can do great stuff for your promotional items. I had used them last week or 2 weeks ago in a pinch where someone needed something for work. It was some sort of organization thing, and they were low on any sort of chattel for a convention that was coming up. And so we pulled out PS Print, found something perfect, found it at a price point that my manager loved, and now PS Print is essentially what we use for work. You can use them for your work, your personal stuff as well, and you can use us or they can use us for the affiliate link to help get this thing paid right here. This is a conversationproject.com/psprint. This is a conversationproject.com/psprint. This is an affiliate link, so we get a commission off of your buys. It works like that. So check it out today and see if that's a great fit for you. We have other sponsors out there that you may love as well that also help fund things for the Conversation Project. But check out PSprint. They may save you on your next upcoming things for promotional items. The Conversation Project lives at this. It's a conversationproject.com. As we said, follow us on our feeds on Facebook and Twitter, and you tell us every single day what to talk about. You give us the chat bots to chat on, if you will. We pick on Tuesday through Friday 8 stories, more or less, to talk about from the top 15 stories of the morning. On Monday, we give you the whole weekend, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and a little chick of Monday, and we give you 10 stories for a bigger show, but that comes from the full 30, top 30 of the full weekend. So we have a lot to pick from, and you tell us what to talk about every single day by going to our feeds all day, all night, all weekend, and telling us what stories are the biggest. We like you to email us at theconversationinbox@gmail.com and tell us what things we should work on better and what things we should do less of, because we need your feedback on that. We've talked about our sponsors page, and we want to talk about quickly about our partnerships page. Go to our partnerships page, and if you think we're doing fairly good work, we can use your help. See how you can help us out with the links there at the partnerships page, and we thank you in advance for all your assistance. Now, we promise fun stuff, and the fun stuff is coming, and it happens right here, right now. We always begin the fun stuff every single weekday morning with birthdays. September 20th is no exception. Going to George Ara Martin, who is 75 years old on the day. I would think he would be older, but that's what we were told. He's 75 years old today. The writer of the books for the fiction, for the fantasy that overtook everyone on the HBO with the dragons and the nakedness and the, brothers and sisters doing it and things like that. I've never seen a book. I've never read a book. I've never seen an episode. I've seen some clips here or there. Don't know a damn thing about the Game of Thrones other than there's a game and there's some thrones and winter is coming because of memes. But you folks like it. You folks want more of it. There's a prequel coming up, I'm hearing, and more books are delayed. That's what I'm hearing. But give props to George R. Martin today at 75 years old on the day. Joe Barenthal, 47 years old. Of course, the Punisher may be coming back. Maybe he's the Punisher for the new stuff they're going to do for Marvel. The Punisher in the quick little cinematic universe that was Netflix. And, of course, playing a pivotal role in the early stages of The Walking Dead. And just kind of a cool guy, apparently. 47 on the day. Aldis Hodge, who is also growing in fame and stature, doing all sorts of things. He is 37 years old on this day. We have a history lesson every single day, every single weekday we have this show at least. And today, for the 20th of September, we start in 1969. That's the day that John Lennon left the Beatles. The Beatles were officially done as a foursome. John Lennon, him, and I guess Yoko Ono officially breaking up the group and going away to start his solo career. From there, the rest of the guys broke off in their different solo careers and various things, never reforming as the Beatles, but of course John Lennon still talking and working with the other mates in various other things and projects. In 1973, Billie Jean King beat Bobby Riggs in a Battle of the Sexes tennis match at Houston Astrodome in Houston, Texas. One of the things about history is as more things happen and more time passes, there's more things to remember and less ways to hold on to other things. This was a pivotal key moment in the Battle of the Sexes and the battle for just men versus women. And it was a thing where Billie Jean King, who was, kind of, in her prime, taking on Bobby Riggs, who was very much out of his prime. So it wasn't as much of a match as it probably should have been, but it was a big deal at the time and a big cultural touchstone for us all. Of course, us all not being me, because this was a year before I was even born, but it was a big thing going on. And many people don't have that reference point anymore because time has passed. This literally was 50 years ago. And not quite 50 years ago, 1998, Cal Ripken Jr. of the Baltimore Orioles took a day off. Decided, you know what? I'm riding the pine today. We're done. I'm going to, just chill today. He played a record 2,632 consecutive games before his day off. Not his final game, his final day in the record books on this one happening today. The record was essentially stamped as he took a day off at 2,632 days. Congratulations for a guy who doesn't miss work. On this 20th of September, get out there and celebrate Fried Rice Day. Who can hate fried rice? It's rice. Everyone loves rice. It's starch. It's good. No, it's really not. Well, it's not so much bad for you, but it's not the greatest thing for you because it is a starch. You get a little soy sauce going on there, mix some vegetables in there. Your favorite proteins. Add some protein to make your fried rice better. Do the shrimp thing. That's awesome. A bit more expensive, but it's there. My mom used to make fried rice when we were a kid with Spam, and it was a little salty, but hey, it was fried rice. It was awesome. Get you some fried rice. Make it yourself. It's very simple. Make some rice, stir it up, add your sauce or whatever. Fried rice is awesome on the day. I suspect fried rice will be consumed in the Payne household today to celebrate this celebration. Also fairly inexpensive. Great meal for a great price is fried rice. Rhymed. I'm a poet. Didn't know it. One more thing you might not have heard. Guess what? This exists. The World Jigsaw Puzzle Championship. And it's coming up tomorrow, Thursday, in Spain. 3 events are contested in the championships. In all events, placement is determined by the fastest completion without a time limit. So you can be there forever, but if you're there forever, you're not good at jigsaw puzzles. There is a team event, a pairs event, and an individual event. The World Jigsaw Puzzle Championships were launched only in 2019 and took 2 years off because of the pandemic. Obviously, you can't be around folks touching things in the pandemic. Returned last year in the event's short history, so essentially 2.5 years of work. Spain has picked up the most gold medals, one would think, because they're the home team of 3. Czech Republic has the most overall with 6. 2 gold, 2 silver, 2 bronze. Pretty good showing. The U.S., we got some catching up to do. We should be dominating everything. This one we're not. We have 1 medal, a total of bronze. And the fastest time for individual competing in the 500-piece puzzle competition is, get this, 32 minutes and 41 seconds. If you can pull off puzzles in that kind of time, we need you on Team USA. Well, we need you to stick around for these things, but we thank you so much for being with us for today's edition of Things You Might Have Heard. Wednesday, September 20th, 2023 is all done in the books, all over for us. Thank you for following us in the feeds and telling us what to talk about. Make sure you do that. Emailing us and telling us what we can do this and that, and stopping by our sponsors page or our partnerships page to help us along the way. If you like this, please stop by our partnerships page and tell us what's going on, and definitely email us with details on what we can do to improve. Stay hydrated, stay focused, stay on task for all the grand things you are here to do as a human on this planet, including being back here tomorrow. Tomorrow. We are already posting news stories, so go to your internets, check out the feeds on Facebook and Twitter, and check us out at our website to see what you may have missed going forward. We have this thing as a replay in video, audio, and just a link form that you can get anytime you want to, so you don't have to be here live at 5:50 like I am doing this recording. We're out. We're done. Thank you so much. We will see you again for another glorious transmission come tomorrow.